is so epic. I love it. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the GSL, the Global Starcraft 2 League. I am Moltrup. With me here is Kaldor, and we are going to be moving into our next match very soon. We just saw Killer not quite get into Code S. Killer, unfortunately, was the kill E this time and maintains his perfect record of not ever winning a series of PvP. And, wow, that's just too bad for him. But he is going to the up and down matches. Remember, people that lose today still go to the up and down matches where they will have a chance, albeit a lesser chance, of getting into Code S, because there are going to be a lot of people trying to get into Code S. So in the up and down matches. So this is really the best opportunity. If you've gotten this far, winning your match today is the best chance you have. And Happy is going to be going up against Cezanne for a chance to get into Code S next match.
I have to admit that I really hate Incredible Miracle for that clan tag. I really do.
Because of IM?
I am ready. I'm happy. They just have to pick up guys like Lucky as well, and that would be so perfect. And
oh yeah, that would be good. Now I'm Lucky.
I'm serious. It's the best clan tag ever. This is so good. I'm curious.
That'd be good. Oh, that would be the best, actually. I'm curious. Because we say that all the time anyway. I'm curious what's going to happen about this game.
Well, now we have the player from OGS. This is Cezanne, the Zerg player Happy has to face today. This is going to be a TVZ, and I'm really psyched about that match. And we already talked about that. We'll talk about it later as well. Cezanne right now has a 44% win ratio against Terran.
Yeah.
40 wins, 18 losses. And he is up against one of the best TVZ players in the GSL.
Yeah, this is one of those situations where if you just look at the stats, it pretty much seems like an almost foregone conclusion what's going to happen, because Happy, he actually doesn't lose to Zergs.
No, he doesn't.
He's like, you know what? That's something I'm religiously opposed to. I'm just not going to do it. You know, Artosis refuses to eat meat. He just doesn't do it. Happy refuses to lose to Zergs, just does not do it. He goes into the restaurant where they have Zergs on the menu, and he says, I'm actually not going to lose to this Zerg.
You kind of got lost in your own...
It worked. Just got to let it go.
Oh, my God.
Anyway,
Today
and
is
yeah,
awesome.
Cezanne just is not very good versus Terrans either. It's the flip side of that coin.
But statistics are not everything, so
No, they definitely are.
Every streak at some point will end, and Happy needs to get into his A game if he really wants to win against Cezanne nonetheless. But still, he didn't lose a single match in his last 10 TVZs. That guy is just so good against Dirk. He never lost against Dirk so far.
Really, really good. I mean, look at that. He beat Dong Regu in the round of 32 of Code S.
The last game that he lost against Zerg, he has a record of 12-2, and the last game that he lost to Zerg was about like 5 months ago against Don Ragu as well.
Yeah.
He lost one single map against him, and it was a best of one. So he's like, yeah, well, I never lost to Zerg before, well, kinda, and I don't want to start today, so bring it, but I'm gonna kill you right now.
Yeah, we saw it was a couple Protoss players he lost to in the round of 16 of Code S. Remember, the players that are coming down from Code S of this season, or I guess what you could call last season, since the finals are over now. The players that are in this third round of Code A from Code S were eliminated in the round of 16. So they actually got to the round of 16 and then were eliminated down to this round. So that is why they are here. And we're going to get started on Belshir Beach is map number 1. Cezanne has had a lot of trouble versus Terrans lately. Actually, in his entire career, can he bust something out new and unique? Some new skills. Has he been training in the gravity chamber so he can beat this TVZ Titan? We're going to find out in just a moment here at the GSL Code A. All right, and down here at the bottom right, getting his creep all over the beach. Some charity organization's going to have to clean it up sometime because this guy's not painting paintings, but he is. Perhaps his Zerg play will be a work of art.
It has to be. He if he wants to defeat the player starting at the top left of Belcher Beach, if he wants to defeat the Terran in the blue colors.
I am happy.
And we'll see if the Terran player will be I am sad after this game. But given his record, we talked about that, I kind of doubt it. I just want to go through with you the last matches that he actually played against Zerg. He won against Seal in the KSL. He beat Don Ragu in Code S. He was able to take out Line with 2-0 at the WCG Korea. And in the Code S October, he beat Koka with 3-0. He won against the Lozira with 2-0. And he took down Lenok as well.
He's beaten so many strong players.
This guy's a monster.
It is ridiculous. It is actually ridiculous. Cezanne, you could say, oh, well, you know what? He beat Ensnare in this season, so he's beaten a high-level Terran player. No, Ensnare is actually bad these days. I'm sorry to break it to you. A lot of people think Ensnare was really good, but he's actually been bad for a while, and finally got eliminated from the GSL. Who knows? Maybe we'll see him back. I don't want to actually. Let me take that back. I don't want to say he's bad. He is mediocre. He is average. He is not at the level that. You know, the level of play has been raised in the GSL so much in the last 6 months that Ensnare has not kept up at all. So, point being, Cezanne, you know, got to hand it to him. He beat a Terran. He might have come back here, but he's got to beat a better player now. What's going on?
For a second, we have Happy. He built his barracks at the high ground, but he, as soon as it was done, he flew down to the low ground and is now able to get a factory. He wants to put some pressure onto the Zerg, and I'm not sure if Cezanne was actually able to spot that. I seriously doubt it, because Cezanne didn't even send out a drone.
No, he didn't drone scout. He only Overlord scouted and hasn't seen anything with that Overlord. He just hatched first and went into his pool. But yeah, I'm curious what's going to go on with this factory on the low ground. It might just be a Marine Hellion rush of some kind, or because he's not making any add-ons on that.
The thing is, he's putting on some pressure into the Zerg player now with the Marines, and with the factory in the position that it is, he can put a little bit more pressure onto Cezanne, as he would usually be able to do.
Oh, wow.
And if he follows that up with the Hellions, he might be able to do a lot of damage, especially on Belcher Beach, where it's kind of hard as a Zerg player to defend that big choke. You need to get that Spinecrawler into a very good position. You can't sim city all that well, so this is a tricky one. We saw a lot of good players lose on a map like that to Hellions. The reactor is already being placed down, actually at the top at the barracks, and we have the factory of the first few Hellions. While the Spinecrawler is being built right now, the Queen's starting to spread the creep. Needs to spread the creep further to the choke point in order to be able to replace that Spinecrawler. And here come the Marines with the first Hellion trying to take out the Queen.
Yeah, he's putting on some pressure here before that Spinecrawler completes. Is not able to get too much here. He's trying to just make Cezanne really, really scared here, because he's actually, as we can see just now, put down a command center in the background. This is really interesting. It's kind of he put down the reactor a little bit late because he had to float it back up and everything. You know, this is something we were seeing actually just the other day out of Chokchi, sorry. Chokchi, of course. You know, putting down the late, putting on a little bit more pressure early on, but then putting down the reactor late and still getting out a lot of Hellions later on to expand with. So maybe Happy watched that series actually and is adapting with it.
One thing that we have to mention is that the Overlord was able to spot that second command center. So Cezanne is able to determine that his opponent doesn't have that many units yet. He put a lot of stuff into building that command center. It's the standard strategy, but there's nothing following up that factory with a reactor. So he knows exactly how much drones he will be able to squeeze out. He's getting the macro hatch already. We have the Baneling nest in production. So on 30 harvesters for the Cezanne, and we have 27 for his opponent. Happy is now getting more production facilities, is getting stim as well, preparing to go for an attack. And well, with all those Overlords in position, Cezanne has a quite decent read on the map. He has both the bridges, and he has an Overlord at the expansion spot of Happy the same.
Yeah, ironically, every time Happy checks these watchtowers with his Hellions, he's actually showing his Hellions to Cezanne. So Cezanne knows exactly what's going on right now. He knows how many Hellions are on the map.
Look at that wall.
And he's got a nice little creep spread. He was not able to put on too early of pressure with those Hellions, or at least he didn't make that effort, so he wasn't able to kind of stop that creep from spreading out there. So Cezanne has a nice little cushion where he can chase those Hellions down the ramp with Lings and Banelings, and they'll be on creep so they can get a little bit extra speed. A Macro Hatch going down, as you mentioned, as well. And there's the Lair finally starting.
Yep, Lair starting, and he has 4 gas, so getting a lot of gas accumulated right now. We've seen Mutalisks on a map like that countless times. You can actually do a lot of damage with Mutalisks due to the areas around the expansion and the main base, and more drones are being squeezed out. Cezanne has just a really nice wall, and he plays down the Baneling nest as part of it, has 2 Spying Crawlers and a bunch of Banelings in the back. He's spreading his creep quite well at the same time, so he does know when his opponent is going to attack. He has a really good defense, and that allows him to squeeze out all those drones. He's on 56 Harvesters against 37 right now.
Yeah, that is a pretty big difference, actually. That means Happy is not completely mining, and part of the reason for that is he is actually not mining gas. Happy's not mining gas at his expansion, but because he's going for this really marine-heavy play, and I don't know if this is going to work out very well because he's not going to have tanks. He's not getting gas. He's putting all of his gas into Medivacs, which is not too much gas. Now he's getting more gas, but he's not going to have tanks, and Happy has, Cezanne has a lot of Banelings, though.
Hold that thought. We have tier 2 completed, but he's getting a lot of Zerglings right now in order to deal with that push. 32 Zerglings, a lot of Banelings at the same time. The Spine Cross repel the Terra player, though. We have already Baneling Nest being researching the speed, and now the Spire is started, but he also threw down 2 Evolution Chambers in order to get the double upgrades. Exactly what he's doing right now.
I like that.
Armor and attack, so this is going to be really, really interesting.
I like that a lot. Getting those early upgrades. I like this Viking too. You know, it's really, especially if you got a reactor on your starport, you're not going to fall too far behind. If you make a single Viking, you can get some Overlords. You can take away all kinds of, basically take away all map control, or map awareness rather, from the Zerg player. Very, very smart to get that Viking, especially since he already has a couple Medivacs out. And he's going to clear up these Overlords and just have that Viking around to scout as well if he wants to.
Actually, Cezanne needs to get more Overlords. He is about to be supply blocked once again. That Viking really doing a number on him, killing 2 of the Overlords already. He was supply blocked for a while, and he needs to get more of them. He should build like 3 or 4 Overlords at a time. He has the money banked up to do that. And the Spire is about to finish. The upgrades are not done just yet. We have a lot of Marines, 38 in total. Spire will be ready in a few seconds, and he has the gas to get like 10 Mutalisks.
Yeah,
now 4 Overlords.
Yeah, he probably is going to get those, but yeah, he actually could not get the he couldn't get the Mutalisk because of his supply block.
Exactly.
Made 6 Overlords at once there. Finally, some of them popping out. He's able to make some Mutas now. But I really like those upgrades that you mentioned, by the way. Very, very smart, because whenever you have Zerglings versus Marines, whichever one has the better upgrades is going to do better. I mean, that's kind of obvious, but it makes a lot bigger difference in that kind of a matchup between Zerglings and Marines. Because if you have really good upgrades over the Marines, you can just run in. If you don't, the Marines just slaughter the Zerglings without any effort, and there's the Mutas popping out. So he's going to be ahead on upgrades here.
I'm not sure if Happy should really attack with an army like that. Oh, we have Cezanne going in, retreating. The problem for taking Stim, that Stim was so unnecessary.
Yeah, he thought it was about to have a big battle. He stimmed everything, and then Cezanne just fell back. And so now he's poking in, but he did have those siege tanks there. That could have been a good moment for Cezanne to attack, actually, before the siege tanks sieged. Now they're sieged up. Now he's going to start pushing in. He does have siege mode. He's starting to produce those tanks now, and I wouldn't be surprised if Happy got a 3rd base.
Cezanne
is part of this as well.
Cezanne is getting a 4th base, and the main problem for the Terran player was that he just was not able to get into the natural of his opponent. That choke provided Cezanne with the ability to hide his Banelings for a while. There were no tanks in the army mix of Happy, so he couldn't use them in order to break through. And if he attacked with the Marines and the Hellions, those Banelings could have just obliterated his whole army. The 3rd base of Cezanne is about to die, though, as Happy just runs past the army of his opponent, takes down the 3rd, has to be cancelled.
Beautiful. Happy was approaching down the left, so Cezanne expanded on the right. Happy took his whole army and just circled up around the right so he could attack where he was weak, where that expansion was, instead of attacking where, you know, instead of letting him get an expansion while he attacked somewhere else. And here comes the Mutas coming in for a little bit of harassment. There's a lot of them there. +1 attack is not quite upgraded for them, but they're take out those turrets very easily and are going to get a couple SCVs before falling back.
3 of them killed, double base now for Cezanne. He's getting 2 bases, and I'm quite surprised by Happy, to be honest, because usually what you see Terran players do nowadays is get that really, really fast double engineering bay for the upgrades, and Happy didn't do that. He only has 1 engineering bay. He's on 1-1 upgrades. He's now just building the armory, so his timings are all off. He should have started that armory way earlier, roughly when the upgrades are halfway done, so that he can start with +2/+2 immediately, and is now just building the second engineering bay as well, trying to drop a bit, but still, those timings just seem weird.
What is he? Oh, okay, he could have killed those Marines in the medevac, but decided not to. Wants to bring his Zerglings in instead. I guess he's really trying to protect those mutas and make sure that they are safe. Happy doing a little bit of a dance back and forth, up and down, keep those Zerglings fit, making sure that they have some endurance, but in the meantime, Happy pushing in, sieging up in this location where he can easily assault both the expansions. Cezanne trying to crush this before his expansions are taken out. And the Banelings rolling in. A few do survive. Can he split well enough to survive all the Baneling hits? There's so many Zerglings. And those upgrades enabling those Zerglings to survive the Marine fire even longer. Getting close. He's going to lose 1 expansion, but he's killed Happy's army and pushed him back.
He had 123 Zerglings when he attacked his opponent.
Wow.
We have +2/+2 upgrade being researched right now for Cezanne. Happy trying to get the second attack upgrade. All these units will be cleaned out, though. The Medivacs already dying to the Mutalisks, but he has to retreat as Happy's reinforcements are able to save those comrades of them.
Yeah, and now critically, Cezanne did save that 3rd base. He saved that 3rd expansion, or that 3rd base, so he's going to be able to drone that up pretty soon if he wants to, and it's going to be able to keep up an economy. Although Happy, he just made another command center. He hasn't floated it out anywhere yet, though.
He has it at the 3rd base now.
Oh, he does? Oh, never mind. I didn't see. Okay. I didn't see him float it down there. I was looking for it at the top middle. I didn't think he'd go for the former gold.
127 supply for Cezanne. Happy with 135, getting the +1 attack upgrade for the tanks now as well. Planetary Fortress tech is being done. And now another attempt by Cezanne to sneak into his opponent's main base with the Mutalisks, trying to deal some damage to the SCVs. But some of the Marines of Happy are already in position. He's trying to lure them out of the range of that 1 single missile turret, not succeeding, but killing a bunch of supply depots. He might be able to supply block his opponent if he kills all of them, but more and more Marines streaming in, trying to defend. +1 armor now researched for the Mutalisks. 6 additional ones are being built. 144 supply for both players. It's a pretty close game.
Yeah, this is very close. Both players are at 3 bases now. Cezanne probably is going to want to take a 4th before too long, though, as a result. Cezanne is really doing well with the upgrades. I like the fact that he's keeping up with his upgrades. He's now got Air Carapace going on his Mutalisks as well. He's going to have 1/1 Mutas in a little bit, although 2/2 being researched right now for Happy's infantry. Oh, he's going to come around behind and pick off some tanks. They're they're not undefended. Never mind, hold that.
And
this
trying to pick off the SCVs. Good job at that. Getting into the main base, trying to attack the production facilities of his opponent. At the same time, we have Happy attacking that 3rd base. The 3rd base at the bottom. Banelings moving in as well. And Cezanne taking a 4th. Here are the Marines trying to take out the drones. There are way too many of them. Cezanne is in a bit of trouble, but has the Mutalisks in his opponent's main base.
The Marines got way out far from those tanks, and even though the tanks got some free Baneling hits, the Banelings got some free Marine hits, but as you said, they are trapped, but not trapped anymore. They say, who is trapped? He's like, I'm not trapped here with them. They're trapped in here with me. He's going ahead and killing some SCVs. He needs to save this 3rd, though. There's only a couple tanks, so he could go in with a lot of Lings and Banelings.
No way, that's too much.
No, it's just going to die.
That's just too much. He's losing his 3rd, getting the 4th, though. I mentioned it. It's about to be finished. 8 additional Mutalisks are being built. He has 18 right now. There's 1 Thor, though. One of the Thors, and Happy looking quite strong now. Cezanne is under a lot of pressure, and Happy is applying even more to his opponent, researching the +3 attack upgrade right now. And even though Cezanne did quite well, Happy now with 170 supply, and he is just in such a good position. His unit in control is magnificent. He's trying to deal more damage to the Zergler. Look at that, sieging up with a tank, and Cezanne is going for the kill. No. retreating once more, trying to force Happy to back off just a tiny little bit.
Yep, and it's a kind of a shame actually because Happy's force is just paltry right there, and instead he's bringing his whole army around to attack where Happy's reinforcements are coming out, but he doesn't split very well at all, and he's actually going to take all of it out. Very nicely done by Cezanne. Happy is moving into his natural now, though, going for the kill.
The thing that I really like about Happy, he's not sending small groups of units over the map. He always has a decent amount of them, so that even if Cezanne is catching some units out of position, he will lose a lot of his units in the process, and now he's just trying to go for it. He's kind of desperate right now, trying to take out the Marines. The mutants are clustering up, and that
GG.
That Thor with so much damage. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, Cezanne was really far behind there regardless, so not a whole lot he could do there at that point, but yeah, Happy just basically did a really good job of shutting down Cezanne's third base. He got a third, he killed it. He got a third somewhere else, he killed it. He got a third and a fourth, he killed both of those, and while he was killing those, he got another third up at the top right, and he went over and said, all right, well, I'm not going to kill that. Instead, I'm just going to kill you. Went in and took out his natural instead, so Cezanne just never had the economy to keep up with what Happy had.
The thing is, what I really liked about Happy's play is the positioning of his units. There was not a single moment in the game where Cezanne was not under pressure after Happy decided to move out. Every time he sent Mirrorless into his opponent's main base, there were a bunch of Marines that were able to deal with the threat. Even when Cezanne at some point just decided, okay, I have enough Mirrorless, I can deal with the turrets, I'm going to two-shot them. He went straight in order to kill his opponent's economy. He only took out 3 SCVs, and immediately Happy had units present to deal with that threat. And the whole entire time on the map, there was just always some units of the Terran player putting pressure on Cezanne.
Yeah, and no units of the Zerg putting pressure on Happy. He never got any harassment done. Like you said, he flew those mutas in there. He got a couple SCVs. 10 minutes later or something, he went in there and got a couple supply depots. And really never harassed at all. Never got any real good Zergling counterattacks or anything like that going on. So Happy was just able to do what he wanted and focus on attacking and putting pressure on. Never had to focus on defending at all.
I have to say it one more time, though. I think that Happy could do a little bit better with the timings in regards to his upgrade. He got the first 2 upgrades with 1 engineering bay, which is kind of fine, but he followed that up with an armory, and you should always try to just make the timings just like perfect, so that you start with the armory a little bit earlier, so as soon as the second upgrade is done, the armor upgrade that is, that you can start with the +2/+2 upgrades, and that you have the second engineering bay as well. That's something that most really good Terran players do nowadays against Zerg. They try to get the double upgrades as fast as possible, and I think that Happy can even improve a little bit more in that regard. But obviously, he played very, very well on the first map, so now Cezanne is down 1 game and Happy about to start the next match against his opponent. The countdown's running, ladies and gentlemen. Happy against Cezanne, Zerg versus Terran at the GSL. And then the second map will be dual side.
Yes, indeed. We're going to get underway in just a moment. Happy has the advantage here. Can Cezanne come back? We're going to find out right now here at the GSL, the Global Starcraft 2 League.
Extra